Volodymyr Zelensky is a comedian, director, actor, politician, and president of Ukraine since 2019. Despite his political inexperience, he gained a widespread support through his anti-corruption established system, which eventually made him the winner of the presidential election. If you want to know more facts about Zelensky, you're in the right place. But first, please like and subscribe to this channel, and then sit back and relax. Now let's begin. Volodymyr Zelensky was born on January 25, 1978 in Kyiv, Ukraine. He was born to Jewish parents, Alexander Zelensky, a professor at Kyiv Institute of Economics, owned by Kiev National Economic University, and Rima Zelenska, an engineer. At a very tender age, his family relocated to Erdenet in Mongolia. 4 years later, they returned to Kyiv, where he began schooling. Just like many Ukrainians, his first language, which he grew up with in his Jewish family, was Russian. And when he was 16, he passed the foreign language exam, English. He got a scholarship to further his study in Israel, but his father didn't allow him. In few years, he graduated in law at the Kyiv Institute of Economics, but he never worked as a lawyer. Rather, he ventured into entertainment as a comedian. Zelensky got married to Olena Kieshko in 2003. In 2004, they welcomed their daughter, Alexandra. Then in January 2013, they welcomed their second child, a son named Cyril. Zelensky participated in the KVN International Comedy Competition at 17. After that, he was part of the Zaporizhia Kyiv Transit Team, which competed in the KVN Major League and won the league in 1997. The same year, he formed the Kravtral 95, which was the name of a neighborhood in Kryvyi Rih. From 1998 to 2003, Kravtral 95 competed in the KVN Major League and other competitions, performing in post-Soviet countries and in Moscow. Kvartal 95 Studio was founded in 2003 on the basis of the KVN Kvartal 95 team. As a publicly traded television entertainment production company operating in Ukraine since 2003. The company produces audio and visual content in Russian, Ukrainian, as well as organized concerts. In 2003, they were producing television programs for the Ukrainian television channel 1+1. And since 2005, they started producing for another Ukrainian channel, Intel. How did Zelensky start his acting career? In 2006, Zelensky took part in the Ukrainian version of the movie Dancing with the Stars. From there, he gained a lot of popularity, and the Kvartal 95 produced the comic series Swati in 2008. Volodymyr made his film debut in 2009, playing the character of Igor in the comedy Love in the Big City, also starred in its sequel, Love in the Big City 2. From 2010 to 2012, he was involved in the direction and general producer of Inter while continuing his acting career working on the Russian-Ukrainian film Andreysian Office Romance, 2011. He later played Napoleon in the Russian comedy Rezevsky vs. Napoleon. In 2015, he played the lead role in the Russian-Ukrainian movie 8 First Dates. How did Zelensky make it in his acting career? In August 2014, Zelensky criticized the Ministry of Culture for banning Russian artists from working in Ukraine. But when it became known that Kvartal 95 had donated 1 million hryvnias to the Ukrainian army during the war in Donbass, armed clashes in the regions of the eastern Ukraine since April 6, 2014, a ban on Zelensky's works in Russia was requested. Also working on other movies like 8 New Dates and The 8 Best Dates. He played the president of Ukraine in Servant of the People, a political satire TV series which was a link between The West Wing and Monty Python, created and produced by Zelensky himself. He appeared as Vasil Petrovich Holoborodko, a kind of absent-minded history teacher at a high school. He was so successful that it later made into a movie with its own prequel. The series, which premiered in 2015, lasted 3 seasons, the last of which was broadcasted during the actual presidential campaign. Interestingly, Zelensky became the elected president of Ukraine on May 20, 2019. How did Zelensky become a successful politician? In March 2018, Kvartal 95 created the Servant of the People political party, which was considered Euro-Atlantist. Although there were some members who were labeled pro-Russian for being from regions like the Russian-speaking candidate. In December 2018, Volodymyr Zelensky announced his candidacy for the 2019 presidential elections. During an interview with Der Spiegel, Zelensky claimed that he became a politician to help decent professionals come to power. Zelensky is not right-wing or nationalist. He also talked about uniting Ukrainians irrespective of the language they speak or where they live. During his election campaign, he toured with Quartal 95 advocating for Ukraine's accession to the European Union and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. In addition, he announced his promise to enact bills to combat corruption and increase the salary of the military, and his intention to end the armed clashes in Donbass if he were elected president. But he declared shortly before the elections that he was opposed to granting a special status to this region. He also said he supported the free distribution of medical cannabis, the legalization of gambling and prostitution, as well as free abortion. But he opposed the legalization of weapons. His critics claimed that his lack of political experience would make it impossible for him to fight corruption. When did Zelensky become the president of Ukraine? After defeating Petro Poroshenko with more than 70% votes, Volodymyr Zelensky was elected president of Ukraine on April 21, 2019. And after taking office, he stripped members of parliament of their legal immunity and told government officials to remove presidential portraits from their offices and replace them with photos of their children to remind them of the stakes of their jobs. How Zelensky's dream as the president failed. He built unity between Ukrainian and Russian-speaking parts of the country's population during his administration. He also led the fight against COVID-19 and subsequent economic recession. But Zelensky's popularity fell during the pandemic, like that of other leaders, and hovered around 40%. He focused on improvements for daily life, such as the digitization of the government. He began the construction of stadiums and highways. His fight against corruption did not advance as fast as he promised, and the public did not perceive a substantial change in the external image of the country. During his government, the main extreme right-wing radical group was prosecuted, and his leader was imprisoned. He promised to end Ukraine's long-running conflict with Russia as part of his presidential campaign, and as he arranged to engage in dialogue with Russian President Vladimir Putin, with administration faced escalating tensions with Russia in 2021. When did the Russian invasion start? In February 21, 2022, Russia found the territories of the independent Donetsk People Republic and Luhansk People's Republic in the Donbass region, and troops were sent there. On February 24th, Vladimir Putin announced that Russia had launched a special military operation in Donbass. Russian missiles hit military targets in Ukraine, and Zelensky declared martial law and announced the severance of diplomatic relations with Russia with immediate effect. On the same day, he also announced the general mobilization. Zelensky remained in Kiev, the Ukrainian capital, where he started calling for resistance through videotaped speeches. On February 25th, he said that the Russian intelligence services had declared him the main target of Russia, but that he would remain in Kiev with his family. In the early hours of February 26th, during the assaults by Russian troops on Kiev, the United States government and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan offered to evacuate him to a safer location, but he refused the offers and chose to remain in Kiev with its defense forces. Has the Russian-Ukrainian war ended? No. The attack began after months of diplomatic tension over the concentration of approximately 190,000 Russian soldiers on Ukraine's borders. In February 2022, he applied for Ukraine to join the European Union, and the Ukrainian war is considered to be the largest conventional military attack on European soil since World War II. Do you know that Zelensky is the only man known worldwide for promising Ukraine to be the president of peace, but instead he became the president of war till today? Now, no one knows how and when the war between Russia and Ukraine will end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notified when new videos are uploaded from this channel. Do well to share your thoughts about President Volodymyr Zelensky in the comment section below. Thank you.